Hello everyone and welcome to Ivy's YouTube channel. Today we are going to talk about one more dynamic array function called filter. So in the last episode with me, you have seen how we are working with a function called unique. Today we will work with filters. Now, traditionally what we used to do, be in a table, we used to go to auto filters and then filter the data. And if I wanted to work with it, we used to copy paste it to another place and then start the analysis or applying of the functions on top of it. Now, with the introduction of this new function called filter, the life becomes a little easier because the number of steps are going down. Instead of putting an auto filter in this area, then copying and pasting, I can directly get my filter data under this header. So all I have done is put the header out over here. And let's say my work was to filter and get the data for Honda cars. Now, how do you start? So if you write the filter function, you will see the first thing is the array. Now, what should be the array? Array should be the columns which you want to return as an output. So unlike auto filter, where the entire column in the entire table gets returned, over here, you can specify which columns do you want in an array. So since I want the entire data, I'm going to pick the array as entire data, entire table. Next is include. Now include is where we put the conditions based on which the table has to be filtered. Like we said, over here, what we are trying to do, filter the Honda cars. So I need to first select the column on which I will apply the filter or the condition and then write the condition. So include is a place where we are writing the conditions. So I will go ahead and select the car type. And the condition over there is that B6 to B1380 should be equal to Honda. Honda being text should be in double quotes. And we are going to close the bracket, press enter, and I get all the data related to Honda cars. Nice and simple. Now, if I want to create an area where I don't want to hard code the car, I would like to give the facility to the end user to pick a car over here. And once he picks a car, automatically the data of that particular car should only appear. So in order to do this, I'm going to use the unique function, which we did in the last session. I'll be using data validation list and then working with filter. So first thing I want to do is get a unique list of my card types. So we are going to use unique function. The array that I want to work with is the card type. And press enter. I get my unique list. I'm going to use this in data validation, work with the lists, and give my source. Okay. I'm going to give the source over here and put a hash so that it is able to get all the data. So now that I have got this list where I can change from Honda to Toyota, the small change that I'll make in my filter function is, rather than this being hard coded, I will go ahead and refer to the cell J1. As soon as we do that, now you will see we have created a little dynamic filter with very less effort, and I can keep on changing the car type and get the data as per my need. Now, what we have done in the first example is using filter with one condition. Ideal situation, we might not have just one condition, but more than one. Now, whenever there are multiple conditions, there is always going to be an and or that is combining those conditions. So how do we use and or inside the filter function? Like the example I've given, if I have to use an and function between the two conditions, we have to put an asterisk in between the conditions. And if I want to apply an or, we put a plus sign between the conditions. Example, if I say I want sales greater than 25,000 and cost of goods less than 20,000, I'll put an asterisk. But if my need was I want sales greater than 25,000 or cost of goods less than 20,000, then I'll put a plus sign. Now let's take one example. Over here, I have Honda cars with sales greater than 25,000. So we'll start with the filter function. Array again, I'm taking the entire table. And for include, I will have two conditions now. One is on car type. So let's put one bracket around this. And this has to be Honda. Now the second thing that we have is on the sales value. And it's with and. So the first thing I'll put is an asterisk over here. And then I will put my next condition. Next condition is that my sales value is greater than 25,000. Close the bracket for this condition, close the bracket for filter, press enter. So I'm getting Honda cars and you can check all the sales value are greater than 25,000. So we were able to apply two conditions and have a and in between it. Now for the last example, let's look at how we will work with or. Like I explained, when we want or to be applied between two conditions, we put a plus sign. So if I wanted data of Honda as well as Toyota cars, we'll put the filter function. Array would be the entire table. And again, we'll go ahead and write the conditions. So all the conditions I like to put in parentheses so that it's like one condition, second condition. So in this case, the first array is car type, on which we are looking for Honda cars. Plus, again, I have to pick car type. Looks like I have named the column, so I'll use the named column. This is equal to Toyota cars. Close the bracket for the condition, close the bracket for filter, press enter, and now you see I've got data for Honda as well as Toyota. Right? So where do you use the filter function? One thing is, yes, I have a criteria and I'm creating new tables with the filter data, or they can also be used inside other functions. Like I want to do a count, or I want to do an average of the sales of the filter data. So those kind of things you can also utilize a filter function. It reduces our effort of going manually and selecting our criteria. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Stay tuned for more of such videos. Thank you.